Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share. This video, we're going to talk about the R. Kelly indictment in Chicago. But first, I'm going to let someone else dig into it. Because I was watching my girl, Sky Zone, shout out to you, and Mr. Due Process. Y'all did y'all thing. Let me let y'all go ahead and lead the topic. And then I'm going to just add to it.
In the indictment, it talks about the three people listed on page 1 in the indictment, which is Robert Sylvester Kelly, Daryl McDavid, and Milton Brown. So on page 5, when they talk about these three people characters on page 5, it says, defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, was a resident of Chicago, Illinois, and was a Grammy Award-winning recording artist and recording producer. Kelly was the president and manager of several businesses, each located in Chicago in the Northern District of Illinois, that he maintained in furtherance of his music career, including but not limited to Bass Productions and RSK Enterprise, which they have listed is the Kelly businesses, right? Mm-hmm. It goes on in paragraph B and talk about someone else. That someone else is Daryl McDavid. It says from in or around June 1991 into around January 2014, Kelly in or one or more of the Kelly businesses employed defendant Daryl McDavid, which means they don't know who hired him, but he was hired through one of several businesses that R. Kelly started in furtherance of his music career. Now, they say he started these businesses in furtherance of his music career, not to rape little girls, not to conspire to commit a crime. It also goes on in the second paragraph when they're talking about Daryl McDavid. Mm-hmm. He was hired by Kelly and or one or more of the Kelly businesses employed defendant Daryl McDavid. Is a businessman, manager. McDavid was a principal at Winkler and McDavid Ltd, located in Oak Park, Illinois. As a manager for Kelly, McDavid was involved in providing services to Kelly, which services were in part intended to protect Kelly's image, reputation, and assets in the face of actual potential criminal and civil action involving individuals who was victims of sexual misconduct. So they're saying that he had ill intentions in his job. They didn't say Robert Sylvester Kelly did. They said McDavid did. They go on and list Milton Brown on paragraph C from at least approximately 97 to at least approximately June 2018. Milton Brown, also known as Junebug, was employed by Kelly in one or more of Kelly businesses. They don't even have Milton Brown committing the crime, y'all. So on page 5, they describe the three individual roles, right? Mm-hmm. And in the three individuals that they describe, they only tell you that R. Kelly started several businesses in furtherance of his music career, meaning that he was a legit businessman. And one of his businesses hired someone that may not be. It goes on to page 6. Okay. And on page 6, it tells us these people's ages and the ranges of their ages. Mm-hmm. It goes on to page 7, where it reads out charges. Those charges that it reads includes R. Kelly and Milton Brown. When it gets to page 8, this is the story that they told a grand jury. This is what they told the grand jury on page 8. Now, we're going to just skim.
Let's stop for a second to explain something. The grand jury. Okay, go ahead.
On page 8 in this indictment is what the state's attorney told the grand jury, the people that was there. So in this story, they say that Kelly and McDavid conspired to conceal and cover up and make payments with people. That story begins on page 8 and it continues on. And this is all the stuff that they had told the grand jury. Mm-hmm. It continues on to page 12, right? Mm-hmm. But when it gets to page 13, mm-hmm. paragraph A, on page 13, lower hand paragraph, it says in approximately March or April of 2000, McDavid on Kelly's behalf received from minor 2 and individual C a videotape that McDavid and Kelly knew depicted him in. But they start this sentence off by saying, in approximately March or April 2007, McDavid on Kelly's behalf, meaning that Kelly was not there when this guy received incriminating evidence or entertained people with incriminating evidence. It goes on in paragraph B to reiterate that same ideology. In approximately March or April 2007, McDavid on Kelly's behalf brought minor 2 and individual C to the polygraph examiner, not R. Kelly. But they're saying McDavid did it on Kelly's behalf. Once again, R. Kelly is not there. Now,
let me pause right there. Fuck all these individual B, individual, fuck all that. Let's just talk about who it was. Individual B, you have Charles Freeman. He looks very honest, huh? Right. And individual C, you have Keith Muriel. Both who were cited for trying to set up press conferences around the time of the first trial. Same two people not too long ago making references about this tape on their Facebook page, and who have this person, Rachel Dion, who is clearly very handy with the Photoshop. According to Keith Muriel, if it hadn't been for this Rachel person, they would be superstars. I wonder what that means. But anywho, then you have the alleged minor 2, Lisa Van Allen, and the alleged minor 1. You know what? Like I've said from the beginning, I believe the minor 1 is really Lisa Van Allen, and minor 2 would really be her best friend, Beverly Atlanta Prado. Clearly, there was multiple women in this sex tape. And that don't look like R. Kelly. And that is who I believe to be Atlanta Prado. The person they're calling Rashana in the video is who I believe is Lisa Van Allen. But anyway, back to what they were saying.
Page 14. Okay. 14 says, in approximately September 2018, Kelly calls a Bass Production Ltd check signed by McDavid to be issued to minor number 1's father and payable of $30,000. In approximately August 2013, Kelly calls Bass Production Ltd to transfer a title of GMC Yukon Denali to minor number 1. Now, do you see right there how they said Kelly gave her the car? They didn't say McDavid did it on his behalf. Right. They said he did that, right? So why is it when every time McDavid do something on Kelly's behalf, he's not blamed for it? McDavid, why he's not blamed for what he's doing on his own behalf? Now, it also says, if we're going to talk about this GMC title transfer, I believe that this GMC truck, the date is not listed for it. But when you have company cars and they're no longer needed, what do? You give it away to friends and family when you're a superstar. When you go to paragraph E, it says, in approximately September 2014, Kelly calls a wire transfer in the amount of $80,000 to be paid to McDavid through his firm, Brinkley and McDavid. Now, in 2014, there was no crime going on. In 2014, the man wasn't facing any charges. So if he gave the man some money, why is this listed in the indictment? It is listed in the indictment because Durham McDavid used to work for this man, and any transactions that's made to this man in their eyes is suspicious because they're saying that he's paying Daryl McDavid for something that happened in 2008 and 2014. Now,
Exactly. Make that shit make sense.
it also goes on in approximately October 2014, Kelly calls a RSK Enterprise check to be issued to minor payable in the amount of $1150 with the notion personal. Once again, they say Kelly made that.
Right.
Why is it they tell us Kelly did this, and then tell us when Daryl McDavid do something, he did it on Kelly's behalf?
Right. Right. Why you think?
Be specific. You know what I mean? Now, when I skipped over page 8 to 12, right? And when I skipped over page 8 to 12, I told you that that's what they told the grand jury, correct? Where in page 8 to 12 is Milton Brown even mentioned when he's part of this indictment? Now, think about that. We'll move on to page 16. On page 16, this is when they bring Milton Brown into the situation, y'all. So when Milton Brown come into the situation, all he got was one lonely paragraph, right? And in that paragraph, they didn't tell us what he did, when he met up with these people, how he committed the crime, anything in this indictment. They didn't list Milton Brown as committing the crime anywhere in this indictment. And when people, I said before, I have beat indictments. And what I meant by that is I have been charged, indicted, and I beat the charge. But you can't beat an indictment, Larry, since I don't know what I'm talking about. Milton Brown can be a prime example on beating his indictment because the state failed to tell the grand jury his role in what was supposed to be a conspiracy. Not only that, the state cannot link R. Kelly to any in the form knowledge of a crime, meaning present. That is why they say McDavid acted on his behalf, meaning R. Kelly was not present. And I'm done with this indictment on that note. Around and running around, keep attaching this man to this man because he's an employee. But if a person works for Walmart and they're a serial killer and they go out and they kill women on the side and we find out that he has 16 bodies in his basement, can we hold Walmart accountable for their employee being a serial killer? Can we hold Daryl McDavid responsible for entertaining crooks, paying crooks, meeting up with crooks, and these crooks allegedly having child pornography that they say in the indictment that they threatened to hold a press conference saying that they have? Now, when you say that R. Kelly produced these child pornographies in this indictment, right? They say he produced these child pornographies videos, right? But in this indictment, they tell you that when the videos came on the scene, they came on the scene from individual B and individual C. And if we're giving R. Kelly his due process rights, which is the presumption of innocence, these tapes have not been in his possession. They came on the scene by informant B and informant C, meaning where in the indictment does it say that R. Kelly had the tapes? It doesn't. It says individual B and individual C had these tapes, period. So how is he being charged with producing something that you can't even state in your indictment when he produced it, how he produced it, what day he produced it, what year he produced it? But you tell us in your indictment that individual B had it and individual C had it. So once again, if we're giving this man's presumption of innocence, he's not on the scene when his employee is committing a crime. He's not on the scene when his employee is paying people for pornography that he himself may have wanted to purchase for his own use. We don't know if Daryl McDavid got up with these guys to buy some pornos, right? Hypothetically speaking, I'm just throwing a scenario out there. Let's say Daryl McDavid got up with these guys to purchase child pornography for himself. And then they find out that he worked for R. Kelly. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Daryl McDavid is there. He is talking about this. He's involved in this. He only works for R. Kelly. Now, everybody want to say R. Kelly is guilty because Kelly and or one or more hired this man.
That could be a whole bunch of people.
That is a whole bunch of people because, like they told us, and you got to read fine print, R. Kelly had several businesses. So if he had several businesses, why are they only telling us about two? Because those two businesses are the businesses in question because of his employee, Daryl McDavid. Period. So when I tell you after page 5, R. Kelly is not in the indictment, after page 5, R. Kelly is not in the indictment. Only people that's in the indictment is McDavid, minor 1, individual A, B, and C, as well as minor 2. R. Kelly is not in the equation.
Now, with that being said, we're going to hold R. Kelly accountable for the fact that women could be bringing other women around, sleeping with the entourage, and making these stories conveniently fitting to be around R. Kelly. All these women live a very precarious lifestyle. And even Lisa Van Allen's baby daddy has been on record stating that he was aware about these threesomes, etc., etc. And Atlanta Prado was brought up back in 2009. The reason why Lisa Van Allen testimony didn't mean too much of shit back then was because she was not credible then and she's not credible now. Seems like right about now, Lisa Van Allen's baby daddy is in Africa trying to get interviews for his statements against Lisa Van Allen. I ain't paying for shit. The truth is the truth. And anybody with eyes can see that's Lisa Van Allen in that tape. And it would appear that her friend Atlanta Prado took Lisa Van Allen's lead by being this new Minnesota victim. But that's another video. So I'll wrap this video up with this. We got Daryl McDavid, Milton Brown, Keith Muriel, Chuck Freeman, all these people who were involved with this child pornography scheme are all free right now. Yeah, you have Milton Brown and Daryl McDavid listed in the indictment. But again, just like any other case, they could get that good old immunity deal and say whatever is necessary if they haven't already. But go on to the minor. Let's just pinpoint Lisa Van Allen. Just Lisa Van Allen. Because we haven't heard anything from Rashana. And I think it's tragic how her name has been brought out so many times and she hasn't made a statement. But anyways, let's just focus on Lisa Van Allen. Lisa Van Allen, or a minor too, in the indictment. Now, I'm not the best mathematician, but I could do basic adding and subtracting. And by my calculation, by Lisa Van Allen's birthday, considering she was born in 1980, her birth month is June, I find it very unlikely that she was a minor when she met R. Kelly. But as we keep seeing with these stories, they like to keep playing with their age in order to fit the narrative. But you do the math yourself. And you tell me that if Home Alone was produced in November 1998 and she was born June 1980, how was she a minor when she met R. Kelly if she met him on the Home Alone video? It would appear that two of her baby daddies have some interesting stories to tell about Lisa themselves. David Wright and Damon Pryor. Damon Pryor knows about the sex tape, and David Wright could add a little spice to her character. This was a screenshot in which someone sent me, in which he allegedly says, "My daughter's mother extorted R. Kelly for $200K. He paid $100K, and when he didn't pay the other half, she went and testified on him in that sex tape shit. She trying to extort me and using my daughter as bait. I won't pay it, so she won't let me see my child. She has her boyfriend speak to me and mishandle my daughter. My daughter told me she burned her. She claims she didn't know what happened to my child. So her only threat was to file an arrest warrant on me in Georgia for not returning my daughter back home, but we never set a specific date. And court dates set for the date for my actual birthday. I'm telling my friends and family in case I don't make it out. But I got 3 lawyers on the case. They claim it's just civil. And I have proof I did try to return my daughter home on time. She didn't care. She only asked me for the money. She trying to set her boyfriend up to lose his freedom along with me, 'cause touching my child is a one-way ticket to external salvation. Pray for me. This is a real situation. Misled me and never told me that she was the girl in the sex tape and her people created. They set R. Kelly up for failure. She know I'm the only person who know the truth and can expose her, so she prefer me in jail and out the way or dead. I'm stronger than the average man and smarter than the average bear. Watch me walk, y'all, and stand up for my daughter. Chess never checkers." And we hear that so much, right? These people are playing chess, not checkers. But obviously the way this shit playing out, I don't know what the fuck. And then I find it quite odd when you go on her website, as you would expect, she don't give you no info about her really. Nothing really spectacular on the site other than a donate, her picture with R. Kelly, and her trying to sell her book. People keep saying this person is Rashana, the 14-year-old girl. Well, I'm convinced it's Lisa Van Allen, a grown-ass woman. Period. Let's not forget to make these hashtags trend. Free R. Kelly, vindicate R. Kelly, etc., etc. The more we post it, the more it will be visible. We can all contribute in changing the narrative. Shout out to everybody supporting the page and the Cash App, Prima Donna ENT. I appreciate everything and everybody.